Hey guys, my name is Mitch here in the business services team at BDO Perth. So I studied accounting and finance at the University of Western Australia, did a Bachelor of Commerce. After my 3 years are up, I applied for a position with BDO and was lucky enough to be able to get one. In terms of what stood out about BDO to me the most was definitely the quality of the people associated with the brand, and also the ability to start your career off really strong with a good supporting environment. BDO definitely invests in you as a person, not just your career. So I think that's the main thing that stood out. I like to refer to business services as the general practitioner of the accounting world. And what I mean by this is that we do a little bit of everything. For example, we do management accounting, bookkeeping, financial accounting, prepare special purpose financial reports, taxation services and advice, group structures, the list goes on. Overall though, we definitely do specialise in tax compliance and advice. So a typical day may be spent preparing a special purpose financial reports or preparing tax returns, or even doing some extensive research to assist your client on any tax issues that they may have. I think the other service lines can be quite specialised in one particular area. Well, as mentioned before, business services is a bit more broad and there's a few more opportunities to delve into. Specialising in taxation as we do, you can not only further your career with the things that you learn, but also with your personal life, you can apply it there as well. So if I, for example, have a tax issue at home and I don't know what to include in my assessable income or what type of deduction I'm allowed, I can think about what I've learned in the workplace and apply it to my everyday life as well. So that's definitely what stood out the most, is the relevance to not only your career, but your personal life too. The culture at BDO is definitely my favourite part about working here. Everyone is super friendly and super accommodating, especially as a grad. Everyone understands you're learning and you're new to everything. So it's a really great experience to kind of be around and start up in. One of the things that we actually do is at the end of the month on a Friday, we get together as a firm and have a few drinks, socialise, and it's a great way to get to know your peers just that little bit more. Another thing that I'm personally involved in as a committee member is the BDO Social Club. So what we do there is each month we organise an event for the social club members to be involved in. For example, we've done the comedy lounge, bowling, lawn bowls, and many other events. And that's another great way to get everyone together. One of the biggest events that we host is the end of financial year ball. So that's held in June each year at a lovely venue. And so everyone's dressed up really nicely, really nice food and drinks, and it's a great night had by all. So just to recap, definitely the culture is amazing and it is by far my favourite thing about working here. The types of clients that we work on in business services are predominantly small to medium enterprises. So this can include clients such as private companies, trusts, and then also large family groups. As a graduate, you wouldn't expect to have too much direct contact with the client, but you can definitely say sit in on a client meeting or a client phone call and help build your confidence to get prepared for that next level. One of the things you will be doing as a grad though would be dealing with the ATO quite often. So if the client has an issue that they need resolving, you might have to say call the ATO up and communicate and liaise with them to come to a solution. And I think this is a really good way to slowly build up your communication skills and your confidence and get you prepared for that next step, which would be direct client contact. I have a client within the marine industry that I work on with my direct partner and one of the managers in my team. And this client's different from an average client because we take on a much more managerial role than say the average financial reports and tax return. So some of the things that we do with this client, we act as the payroll officer, accounts receivable, accounts payable, deal with their finances, management reporting, and then along with the general tax compliance and advice. And so I think this is a really good client to work on for me because not only do I get to learn more about their business and be able to better service them in the future, but I also learn more about the business environment in WA and how businesses operate. And so it's been a great client to build up my confidence and kind of diversify my skill set just that little bit more. In the business services team, one of the things that I strongly recommend and endorse you to do is the Chartered Accountancy course, otherwise known as the CA program. And so what BDO actually do will be fully subsidise the cost of this course for you and also provide you with some study leave for the units and host in-house facilitation workshops. So they're definitely very supportive of you undertaking postgraduate studies and furthering your skill set. They also subsidise some of the costs of any further relevant studies to your career. So once again, they're definitely heavily invested in you as a person and your future. So instead of one piece of advice, I'll give you three. So number one, I think the most important would be try to get some relevant work experience. And this doesn't have to be in an area such as business services. For example, I worked in one of the big four in restructuring services for an internship, and I still applied for business services, and the skills that I learned in that role actually helped me a lot in terms of how this kind of business operates and the overall office environment. So number one is definitely get some work experience if you can. Number two, to set yourself ahead of the crowd, would be to kind of brush up on your general taxation knowledge. As a grad, you're not expected to know anything at the end of the day. You're learning everything as you go. But if you really want to stand out, have a general idea of how things work. If you get into the interview stage, throw out some facts here and there, or they ask you any tax questions, you'll have the answers, and I think that will go really well. And third and final is to get some accounting software experience. I know at a lot of universities, unfortunately, they don't give you direct experience to the accounting softwares and everything's kind of still done by hand. So what I would recommend, if you can, is get some experience with Xero or Mile, because in the business services team, we do directly work with Xero the most, and we prepare our financials and tax returns on there. But we also do work with Mile and QuickBooks and the other accounting softwares. So that's going to look really attractive on your resume, and should you get the role, it's going to give you a major head start in general.